This is the City of Waupaca, third Tuesday of the month, City Council meeting.
All right, it's 6 o'clock, and again, I'm trying to figure out who's in attendance here, but we'll find out when Sandy takes roll and for the council members, and then we'll find out on staff and others that are on here too as we move forward. All right, as you know, tonight's city council meeting is all virtual. All the city council members, I'm assuming, are sitting at home, but they could be other places too, virtually. At City Hall, we have Aaron Johnson, our city administrator, Sandy Stibbs, and myself, but we are all sitting in our separate offices, but we still thought it would, and Josh is here too, I'm sorry. Just thought that we would be close just in case something was to happen tonight. So I'll call this meeting to order. It is Tuesday, August 18th, 2020. And let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Hopefully you can see the flag right behind my shoulder there. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And
to the republic which stands one nation under God.
Which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We must all be whispering it or else I'm not hearing as well tonight. Sandy, you want to go ahead and read the clerk's open meeting statement for us?
Sure. This meeting and all other meetings of the Common Council are open to the public. Proper notice has been posted and given to the media in accordance with Wisconsin state statutes so that citizens may be aware of the time, place, and agenda of this meeting.
And Sandy, you want to take roll for us too?
Brian Smith.
Here.
Hackett. Steve Hackett.
Steve not here tonight?
Steve, I see his, it looks like he's on. Doesn't seem like we can hear him.
All right, thank you.
Everybody
Lori?
see his picture?
No.
Yeah, he was on earlier.
All right. All
Lori
right, well,
Chestnut?
let's find out where he's at.
Here. Paul Hagan.
Here.
Alan Keeland.
Here.
Scott Perchatsky.
Here.
Dave Peterson.
Here.
Paul Mayo.
Here.
Dimitri Martin.
Here.
Mary Fair. And Eric Olson.
Here.
9 present. We have a quorum.
Thanks. As I was listening to people, we didn't hear from Steve Hackett, so not sure what's going on there. But Paul Hagan, I just wanted you to know that I had a very difficult time hearing you. I don't know if the rest of the council, but I heard everybody else pretty plain. So you can scream a little louder, that would be appreciated.
I'm good at that.
Well, I guess I heard that a little bit. Okay, next up we have the consent agenda. This is where we vote on all of these items with one motion, unless you want to see any of these items moved to the regular agenda and vote on those individually. Sandy, you did have one addition to this though, didn't you?
I did. Letter A, monthly reports, number 1, the finance director treasurer's report for the month of August was uploaded to the city website. And that's all.
All right, thank you. Okay, so anybody would like to see any of these items moved to the regular agenda?
This is Lori, and I would move to accept.
Alan seconds.
Thank you for giving me your name ahead of time too. Appreciate Appreciate that. A motion by Lori, second by Alan, that we approve the consent agenda with that one addition. Any discussion? All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Do we have any against?
Aye.
All males against? We're in four. Came a
I
little
said
late
aye.
there, but you're
Aye.
for? Okay,
Yeah,
and then
Or-
we didn't have any abstentions, I'm guessing, on an agenda. All right, next up, we have the regular agenda. What you have is what we want to go through tonight. So I would just be looking for a motion to approve.
Olson to approve.
Martin, second.
Motion by Olson, second by Dimitri Martin, that we approve the regular agenda as printed. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any noes? Any abstentions? All right, motion carries. Under non-agenda items and announcements, you have a thank you note from the Community Blood Center, which is on page 66, Aaron, if you want to show it. But and that's just for informational purposes only, thanking us for being able to use City Hall or City Square. All right, next up, we have public input. Aaron or Sandy, do you guys have any public input to report?
Nothing from me.
Nothing for me neither.
All right, sounds great. Let's go to community department head reports. We have Cheryl Slutton is on representing the community group. And I think we'll just have Cheryl go first. So Cheryl, welcome.
Okay. Thank you. So anyway, hello, my name is Cheryl Slutton, and I'm representing the Rotary Club of Waupaca. On behalf of Rotary, I'd like to thank the council for your support of Rotary and the good work we do in Waupaca. Rotary is part of the Waupaca Area Arts and Culture Network, and we're proud to be a part of the community effort outlined in the 2018 Waupaca Cultural Plan. Tonight, I'm here to raise awareness and perhaps do a little recruiting for the 2021-2022 Rotary Youth Exchange Program. Each year, over 9,000 high school students around the world leave their homes to live in another culture for a year and attend high school in that country. They learn to share themselves and their beliefs with their host families and friends, while also learning and adapting to a new culture, learning a new language, gaining new friends, and adopting a new family. Importantly, they are also young ambassadors as they represent their city and their country. The Rotary Club of Waupaca has one of the most active and respected RIE programs in our state. Each year, we host 2 to 3 students from other countries in our community and send 2 to 3 students from our community to other countries. Rotary thoroughly prepares students and their families leading up to the exchange experience and supports them throughout the program abroad. Host families in Waupaca and their international students are also supported by our local Rotary Club. Because of RIE, all of our high school students have the opportunity to meet and interact with people from different countries and cultures. And young people who leave us for a year return with experiences that broaden their horizons and strengthen their ambitions. Here are 2 examples from our recently returned students. Anya Harrington, who returned from Germany, writes, "Through being an exchange student, I learned more about myself and the rest of the world. Being an exchange student in a foreign country can place you in some tricky situations, But through these situations, I gained so much more confidence, independence, and problem-solving skills. Emma Schmidt, back from Denmark, says, exchange definitely made me more independent. Denmark places much more responsibility on young people. So I was pushed to problem solve and figure things out myself. I think I also became much more upfront and came out of my shell a little bit more. This year, COVID-19 disrupted our exchange program. All of our Waupaca students have returned early from their exchanges, and almost all of our inbound or students from other countries have returned to their home. We are planning to resume the program for the 2021-2022 school year and are beginning to recruit students and host families. So, we would like to ask for your help. If you know a student who will be 15 and a half to 18 and a half in August of 2021 and may be interested in going on exchange, have them check out www.rye6220.org. More information will be provided once school is back in session. We're also looking for host families. Ideally, host families have children in junior or senior high, but that isn't a requirement. Families interested in learning more about hosting should contact us at www.waupacarotary.org. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cheryl. Anybody have any questions or comments for Cheryl? Appreciate you logging on tonight. Everything sounds like it came through pretty good. So thank you.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, we didn't have anybody else as far as community reports. That was the only one, right, Sandy? Aaron?
That is correct.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. All right, let's go in order as I remember them in the council chambers to the department head report. So Kathy, you're up.
Good evening. I uploaded my report to the website on Friday. Again, we're working with still down a full-time position and getting all the reports done as fast as we can. We did have Michelle Morsfeld from the Waupaca Online start learning how to do the utility billing. And she'll be working part-time to alleviate Barb Robert from having to fill in as the utility clerk. So we're keeping up to date on utility billing and all of the changes the state keeps throwing at us. We did get some information on the equalized value for the city for 2020's tax bills, and we are up approximately 3%. We're looking at probably a 1.5% maximum increase in the tax levy, as we had a 1.5% net new construction increase this year. So we're doing really well. Those are all positives. We will be coming back later on at the beginning of September with financing proposals because of the low interest rate market that's out there. As I reported that Little Chute went to the market for about an $8 million bond issue and received interest rate of just over 1%. So now's the time to go out there and look at borrowing for this year's projects and for possibly next year's to save the taxpayers some money. Otherwise, I don't have anything else to report.
All right. Thank you, Kathy. Any comments or questions for Kathy? All right, let's move on over to the library then. Hi, Peg.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm really excited to announce that the We Read 5,000, the community did it. We made it. So we read over 5,000 books this summer and we're still reading. So good job to all our readers out there. Thank you so much for helping us reach our community goal. The other thing about our community is that we worked on kindness flags for the last month or for the last year, and those did go up for a week. So I hope you had a chance to see those upside down teardrops turned into hearts because it was really glorious on the lawn. The exhibit is still around the bandstand. It's the snapshot exhibit, and these are photographs of people during their safer at home time. And it's really interesting. It will, those photographs will end up at the Historical Society as a part of the history of this very special year where we're dealing with the pandemic. Another part of our whole community is that we've been working on creating a kinder community, a community of compassion, which includes the trauma-informed care principles. And I had a conversation with Congressman Mike Gallagher today that was recorded, and we'll be talking about what a great community Waupaca is and how we're working towards everyone feeling like they belong. So listen for that podcast. I'll send the link out when I get it myself. So we've seen more and more patrons using the library now that they're allowed to browse and to use study rooms and to use computers. Our curbside service is still in action, but what we found is that people are preferring to actually come into the library and pick up their holds and browse with the restrictions that we put in place. So we do ask that they wear a mask, use hand sanitizer, carry a basket, so we make sure we haven't reached our quota of individuals who can be in the library at one time. We've had very few people who have not wanted to comply with our rules. There have been a few people who've said that they cannot wear a mask for a medical reason, and we have assisted them as we can with the needs that they have for the library through curbside service, making copies for them, choosing books or movies that they need. So we've done our best to accommodate all the patrons that want to use the library. We've never gotten close to our quota of 30 people in the library at one time. I think we've gotten about 15 at once. So we're doing well with that. We do ask that parents bring only one child under 10 so that when they're with their child, they can be very cognizant of the things that they're touching. Everything that is touched by a patron does have to go into quarantine, and the quarantine period is a 4-day period. So that means all of our returns are sitting in big bins in our back room, 4 days worth every day. So really starting to see greater volumes of things being checked out, and so those bins are getting pretty full. We did migrate to a new system for our checkout and check-in, and that was the first day was yesterday, and today we also used the new system, and it has been challenging, but we've done our best with making sure we can provide those services for our library patrons. We have decided that there will be no in-person programming this year in 2020, so we're working towards doing some virtual programming this fall. So look to our website for more of that. We have found that there's a group of teens who are very much familiar and happy to be engaging online. So those teens are maybe going to continue engaging in that manner even after the library has opened up after the pandemic. We will be having a library board discussion tomorrow evening. It's an ongoing discussion that we've been having about eliminating overdue fees for our library patrons. One of the challenges right now is that we do have a quarantine of 4 days. So if somebody returns something, they've returned it on time, but it doesn't get checked in until at least 4 days later, sometimes longer than that. And we do know that those overdue fees do prevent some of our families and children from being able to use the library the way they need to use it. So there will be a discussion about that at our library board meeting tomorrow evening. If you'd like to join in that discussion, if you can email me, I'll make sure that you get an invitation. And that's about it for the library.
All right. Thank you, Peg. Any questions for Peg or comments? All right. My camera doesn't seem to want to stay on. I don't blame it, but Justin, go ahead.
Thanks, Mayor. My update is shown on page 3 and 4 of the packet, along with a picture of our clarifier. This is the first of the 2 tanks that are being completed this year. This one, the picture is not 100% complete, but the tank is now. We're moving on to the second one. Within the wastewater department, we have a mercury prevention program as mandated by the DNR through the EPA. We actually have a variance within our permit. EPA allows 1.3 nanograms per liter of discharge of mercury into our streams. Our variance allows us to go up to 4.5. In the past, we've had some difficulties hitting that even within our variance, so we're taking a much more concerned look at what we can do to prevent that from being released out into our environment. So in the near future here, I'm going to be coming back to council with an upgraded sewer use ordinance that's going to touch on that subject and hopefully prevent mercury from being released out into the environment. Granite Street, we have installed new water main from Harrison to almost Simcox. The crew is making good progress up there since they started just this last week. We should be looking at installing new laterals up there by the end of the week and hopefully getting some concrete work by next week. The laterals are important because we have the lead lines out there. We have the DNR fund. So we're getting the lead out and getting those laterals replaced. Facility side, our tree planting program, we put that off in the spring. We're bringing it back this fall, and it'll be the biggest one ever as we receive the DNR grant from all the recent severe storms. So we received a catastrophe grant to help replant a bunch of trees. So this year's planting is going to be 10 times as big as it's always been. Russ is working on that and sent out those requests for proposals out today. We have a couple big anniversaries. Again, another water operator, Scott or Zeb, 17 years. And then we have a custodian that's celebrating 7 years. That's Mark Erdman. That's it for me, Mayor.
All right, thanks, Justin. Any questions, comments for Justin? All right, thank you. Andrew, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. Starting in the parks, we are still continuing to work with Habitat for Humanity to have a Rock the Block work day for the community. We're looking at doing that up September 26th. I just reached out to them today to see if anything has changed on that, and I will continue to keep people updated with that. We plan to do some trail work and some work in the community garden out at Swan Park. We're continuing to gather information on our court plan from the community. We have around 300 surveys that have been filled out as far as information from community members. We're also going to, in the next week or two, be putting up some boards in the City Hall atrium, the rec center, and possibly one more location where people can, put stickers in certain areas and how they feel, if we need more of certain amenity, less of a certain amenity, or they don't have a comment on that, to kind of get more information from the community. So a big part of that court plan, which is our comprehensive outdoor rec plan, is getting information from stakeholders in the community. So we'll continue to do that. Recreation wise, we do have what we're calling a Park and Watch movie in the park this Friday. Starting at around 8 o'clock or when it gets dark. We're going to be showing that at Swan Park. So what we'll do is we'll set up our normal inflatable screen for the movie, put it at the base of the sled hill, and people can pull into the parking lot, watch it, and listen to it on their radios. We'll have a food truck or two out there as well. So if you're looking for something to do on Friday, we have that coming up. We did finish up a lot of our newer programs that we started over the last couple weeks. Those included Disc Golf 101, Art in the Park, a running group, swimming lessons finished up a while ago, and playground program. And all those, we did make some stipulations to try to keep community members safe, but all those went really well. We had really good turnout. We had really good planning with those. So going into the fall here, we'll continue to look at maybe some new programs like that, and changing up some things to try to keep our community safe, but also give them opportunities to get outdoors and be active. So I'll update people as we do that. Senior Center is also going to try a drive-in type activity on September 17th. They're going to have a drive-in bingo down in the lower parking lot here at the rec center. So it's going to be through the radio again, playing bingo up on a big screen, so giving them something to do. They're also making grab bags that people can come in starting September, the first Friday in September, which I believe is the 4th, if I am not mistaken. They can come in, grab those. They'll have a bunch of different activities, crafts, and things that they can do at home for the month, and then come back the next month and get another one if they want to do that. So they'll have about 20 of those available each month for people. And they've been doing pretty well with their classes. They've been moving some outside in front of the rec center so people can watch as they drive by, and people have to sign up for those, but they've been going pretty well. We haven't had any issues with the masks here at the rec or the senior center as well. And that's about it.
Thanks, Andrew. Any questions or comments for Andrew? Awesome. Thank you. Chief Ozell.
Thank you, Mayor Council. My report can be found on page 11. The Police Commission, we continue to meet virtually, so we were able to get together on August 11th. We went through and they approved the expense reports and the chief monthly report. Because of COVID, last year we approved a capital plan of replacing the second boiler, and we were finally able to get all those bids taken care of. And that bid was awarded to the Automate Comfort Controls, and they were the cheapest quote. They also are the current company that we've been doing maintenance in the building, so they're really familiar with the building. And at the same time, we're also working on the 2021 budget, so we're trying to get ahead of ourselves here and get some things taken care of before September. And then we had Paul Shabelsky, who is, I think, almost in his third week of training with our department. So he started working the road, and he has about 7 or 8 more weeks of training, and he should be good to go on his own. And that's all that we have, unless there's any questions.
All right. Thanks, Chief. Appreciate it. Next up, we have Josh.
All right, hello everyone. Just a sec. Getting feedback in the TV studio. On the Waupaca Online side of things, we're still in discussions with the county, the town of Caledonia, and then that landowner with the lease that was approved last time about potential projects. And some of this stuff doesn't necessarily move super quick, but we're making some progression on some of this, and hopefully in the coming months, some of it will come to reality. I spent some time last week and this week working with the online staff. We did a major cleanup on the Shambo water tower, put some new equipment in place, and kind of got some things future-proofed for some other upgrades we're doing. And project went really well with very minimal actually no significant downtime, just a couple minutes here and there as we swapped out some cabling. So that went well. On the IT side, I've been spending time doing some security camera work at some of our parks, lift stations, and then we're going to be looking to put a couple cameras downtown soon. Added 2 more doors at City Hall to the key fob system, and then I'm in process on setting a couple new computers up right now. And that's all I've got.
All right. Thanks, Josh. Any comments, questions for Josh? All right, Sandy, you're next.
Thank you, Mayor Smith. My report can be found on page 18 and 19. The August partisan primary kept my office very busy. We had 848 total voters, which was a 27% voter turnout. But out of the 828 or 848, we issued 759 absentee ballots, which resulted in 506 voted ballots being returned to be counted. Now we're gearing up for the November election, obviously. And I'm also looking to purchase a ballot drop box. I want to get it in place within the next month before the absentee voter ballots go out, so that we have a place for people to drop their ballots outside if they want to bring them in on the weekend, or you know, just don't want to come into City Hall for whatever reason. Also, on my report, I had listed a temporary Class B license that I had issued, and I have since learned that the Battle of the Badges has been canceled. So that will not be happening on September 12th. And that's all I have. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you.
All right, Aaron, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor Smith. So a couple things I want to cover, Council. Next week, we have a special plan commission meeting. And that is on August 26th at 5:15 for any plan commission members that may be on here. I did send an email out. I think that's at 5:30 originally. That is at normal time, 5:15, August 26th. That'll be to go over the zoning code rewrite again. And we'll continue through that process. Hopefully have some progress and hopefully have a lot of that wrapped up by within the next 2 meetings, which are 2 weeks in a row. We have a regular plan commission meeting September 2nd. So also in plan commission coming up, we also have comp plan is moving along with the updates of the zoning code rewrite. And in September, we'll be talking about the transportation chapter in the comp plan. And in October, we'll be talking about the economic development chapter of the comp plan. Moving along with economic development, housing RFQ, you've heard me talk about the opportunity we may or may not have with WIDA tax credit programs. Final details of scoring did come out, and we're in an interesting scenario. The city is actually split in 2 different census tracts, and the one that tends to score higher in the preliminary scoring is actually the east side of town, which would be like the industrial park, Eastgate subdivision out there. Andrew Dane has been working to put together an RFQ for a housing project, workforce housing project, and we're gonna write it towards the WIDA program, but we're also gonna leave it broad enough to leave it open for market rate housing, anything like that. So we hope to get some good submittals back and have conversations and keep pushing that forward. Another important thing to mention there is that the RFQ gives you an automatic 5 points in the WIDA scoring. So we'll see if we can get something out of that. We also, Rhonda and I were working together on putting together an RFP out for assessment services for 2021 and 2022. That has gone out and we will be taking bids September 18th will be the due date for them at 2 o'clock. So you can expect something in early October for assessment services. Foundations for Living. Chief Hozell and I were able to have a conversation with Wilma, the director for Foundations for Living, talking about maybe some of the possible challenges that they may have at the warming shelter coming up. Obviously, they had a challenge with volunteers in the spring. When COVID hit, they're assuming that they're going to have some similar challenges. So we're working with her. She's going to be working with Josh and community media and promoting kind of a drive for volunteers for Foundations for Living. Another thing that she's working on that you've probably seen in one of my newsletters is the event Waupaca Counts. It's a Waupaca Counts picnic, August 27th. That is in partnership with some local organizations and the census to help count our harder to count populations. That is from 4:30 to 7. There will be some music. There will be some free food, and we hope to get a good turnout. So we thank Wilma for her work with that. Staff is working on contacting community members currently for a downtown business program or business incentive program task force. So we'll continue to talk about that in our development review team, looking for maybe a first meeting date in mid-September or just past mid-September. So more details to come on that. Grant writer hire, we did hire Greg Groman for our grant writer position made possible by Mr. and Mrs. Tim and Joy Neville. We are very excited to have Greg. I think he'll be a great fit for our organization. I think he'll open up some awesome opportunities. His start date is going to be September 1st. I will be introducing him to department heads and other staff this Friday, late morning. He'll be coming in a couple weeks early to meet some people. So department heads, you can look forward to meeting them then. Budget workshop schedule. This is also something I put in a newsletter, but if you didn't see it, I wanted to go over that really quick. Workshop number 1 is our CIP. That is going to be Tuesday, September 15th, as it is in our schedule right now. That'll be immediately after council. Workshop number 2, personnel, Tuesday, October 20th. Workshop number 3, transit and TIF, will be put together Tuesday, November 3rd. Workshop number 4 would then be adopting the 2021 budget, and that would be Tuesday, Tuesday, November 17th. Staff will be working together on this, talking about it in department head meetings, and also meeting with Mayor Smith prior and going over the budget with Mayor as well. The last thing I have on my communication is just wanted to remind everyone, quarterly council meetings, it's that time of year again, are coming up to it. If anybody would like to meet with me, a couple of you I've been able to meet with already, and I think that's fantastic. So if you guys can, whether it's virtual or in person, I'd be happy to meet with you. So just reach out to me. We'll get something on the calendar if you would like to do that. So, Mayor, that's all I have for my update. Thank you.
All right, Aaron, thank you. Any comments, questions for Aaron? Hey, I did want to recognize too that our city attorney is on with us too. I'm sure you all saw the list, but just wanted to make sure that we all know that Tom Hart is on with us tonight.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. All right, let's go into unfinished business then. We have ordinance number 07-2020. This is an ordinance amending the official traffic map of the city of Waupaca, Wisconsin by changing street signs to show that effect. And this is actually the second reading, but just for us, our memory purposes, Justin, you want to just remind us where this is going on?
Yes, for sure, Mayor. Thank you. So the actual ordinance is listed on page 67 within your packet. The signs that we are installing are on Webster Way and Rotary Street. This is on the Eastgate subdivision. So as you head out to the airport, Commercial Drive loops around the airport. That's a 35-mile-per-hour zone. As you get off of Commercial and go into that subdivision to the north, both Webster and Rotary, that's all 25 mile per hour as dictated by our ordinance. We want to sign it and then put the recording of the signing in this ordinance on our traffic map, so then it can then be enforced by the police department. So yeah, this is the second reading, as the mayor has mentioned. So upon approval tonight, it will go to the newspaper, published on the 27th, and then after that, it will be fully adopted.
All right, any questions on this ordinance? Aaron or Sandy, I'm assuming that if you heard any response, you would have let us know.
Correct. I've heard nothing.
Nothing.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we're looking for a motion to adopt this ordinance.
This is Alan, move to approve 07-20.
This is Lori, seconding.
Motion by Alan, second by Lori, that we adopt ordinance number 07-2020. This is an ordinance amending the official traffic map of the city of Waupaca, Wisconsin by changing the street signs. Any further discussion? Any discussion? Sandy will call the roll.
Steve Hackett. Steve
I
Hackett.
don't see the. I don't think he's on. I can't.
No, he's raising his thumb.
Okay,
Oh, is he? Okay, I don't see his face at all.
I don't
here, so.
either. But thank you,
All
Alan.
right,
Lori
does
Chestnut,
that count? We should ask Tom Hart, does that count? Sorry, go ahead, Sandy.
Lori Chestnut,
Aye.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Alan Keeland,
Aye.
Scott Perchatsky,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Dimitri Martin,
Aye.
Thank you. Mary Fair is absent. Eric Olson,
Aye.
9 ayes, motion carried.
All right, under new business, we have a request from H.H. Hinder Brewing Company, and this is Mike Stroik for his tent for his Hinderfest 2020 to be held on Saturday, September 12th, 2020, from noon to 10 p.m. And I know Mike was given a feed to be on this, but I don't know that I saw that he is.
He's not on it,
Is
Mayor.
it,
I was able to talk with him yesterday a little bit and get some details in case anyone had any questions.
All right, well, Aaron, do you want to just explain that if there are any changes or anything to, because this is his second year of this, so there any change, and we approved it last year, so.
Yeah, not many changes at all. The only real change is that it's actually looking at, I know he's got 10 on here. He's looking to end the tent festivities at between 8 and 8:30. With the COVID precautions, they are following all WEDC guidelines. They will have a reserve deputy officer there. I guess all tables will be spaced apart to meet those guidelines. They'll have that green plastic fence up as a perimeter, 2 gates that will be manned, IDs will be checked. I know they have been enforcing the state order, and all of their employees have been abiding by that state order for masks since it's been in place. They'll have hand sanitizer stations and other precautions taken. So those are the things that we really just talked about from a COVID standpoint. Everything else seems to be pretty much the same as last year, Mayor.
Sounds good. Anybody have any questions? Anybody like to make a motion?
This is Lori, move to approve.
Martin, second.
Motion by Laurie, second by Dimitri Martin to approve of the request by H.H. Hinder Brewing Company to extend its premise description to include a tent for Hinderfest 2020 to be held on Saturday, September 12th, 2020 from noon to 10 p.m. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anybody against? Any abstentions? All right, motion carries. 9-0. All right, next we got a couple of purchases that the police department are looking for. And this is portable radio purchases for Waupaca Police Department. Chief, you're up.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Over the last probably 3-4 years with our operating budget, we've been slowly transitioning to upgrading our portable radios that we have. A lot of them are quite old, and they do not possess the same technology as our current radios currently do. With them not possessing the same technology, we've had some difficulties with communications, and this was something that we were going to try to slowly transition to. But some of the problems that we did have, we had to go out and we had to try to get some prices in regards to upgrade. the rest of the portable radios. We did get quotes from Northway, DSC Communications, and Baycom. Northway Communications is our current vendor, and they're actually out of Wausau, Wisconsin. Northway Communications, they also handle the radio system for Waupaca County and for the Sheriff's Department. And between Northway and DSC Communications, the price difference was $198.57. DSC was a little bit cheaper. However, my recommendation was to stay with Northway, as they currently come to the police department now. They service all our portable radios as well as our squad radios. If we have problems, they're able to stop down here and they take care of the services without us having to put a radio in the mail. DSC is out of the Superior area, so it could be quite costly if we would have any problems that we'd have to get them up there or bring them down.
Thank you, Chief. You have an amount that not to exceed 27,356.57, and Aaron has that posted on there. Sandy, your hand is waving there. Is there?
I have no idea why.
Okay.
Honest to God, I can't get it to stop.
That's what I figured. So.
And Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Kathy is aware of this project, as well as I know that you and I had spoke, as well as Aaron Jensen, our city administrator. And that is coming from the 2020 borrow.
Okay. So just want to enlighten our council just a little bit so you can understand why this and the next item that he has on here we feel is very important. In the past, we've been able to gradually upgrade our equipment because even though we have a certain number of police officers, they aren't always on duty at the same time. So we don't have to have enough radios to cover all of our police department or enough tasers when we get to the next part. But as you know, in the last couple months here, we have needed to have enough radios and tasers because we have had to use our police officers at full force. So we found that we were lacking in that area, and we do feel that this is of utmost importance that we make sure that everybody is upgraded to these new pieces of equipment. Anybody have any questions? I'd be looking for a motion.
This is Lori, move to approve.
Alan second.
So we have motion by Lori, second by Alan. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
To approve the purchase of portable radios for the Waupaca Police Department from Northway Communications out of Wausau, Wisconsin, for an amount not to exceed $27,356.57. Any discussion? Sandy will call the roll.
Steve Hackett? Are we getting a thumbs up, anybody?
I can't see Steve. Alan, can you see Steve?
No, I can't see him right now.
Just pass him.
All right. Lori Chestnut?
Aye.
Paul Hagan?
Aye.
Alan Keeland?
Aye.
Scott Perchatsky?
Aye.
Dave Peterson?
Aye.
Paul Mayo?
Aye.
Dimitri Martin?
Aye.
Mary Fair? And Eric Olson?
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried. All right, Chief, you want to go to the next one, the taser?
Yeah, that brings us to the same situation. Right now, we have 7 tasers that are shared among patrol staff. So when patrol staff comes in, they're able to check in and they're able to share the tasers. With recent times of us having the whole department being able to be brought in, we haven't had enough tasers for everybody. Purchasing 8 more tasers would provide each officer with their own less lethal weapon. And right now, the tasers that we've been purchasing have been coming out of our operating budget. They got a 5-year life on them, so each year we're able to upgrade and buy a new taser. So what we would need to do now is we would need to purchase 8 tasers, and that would be placed with capital. The other remaining tasers, they would still continue to come out of our operating budget each year to upgrade those. And again, this funding would come from the 2020 borrow. And I did provide the quote that was provided by Axon, who makes the tasers. Is there any questions?
Chief, have you had to use tasers very much?
Yes. Yes, we have.
Brian, I can't remember exactly how the story went, but can you share that story about the tasers? What made you start thinking about, holy cow, everybody should have had them at the time?
Yeah, the tasers, if you go back to it, the tasers are a less lethal weapon for law enforcement officers. And what tasers do is they can reduce injury to not only the officer, but also to the suspect that's becoming disruptive. And that's why we started buying the tasers. And during recent events, we have had people come up to the officers and ask the officers where their tasers were. And we didn't have enough to go around. And the comment was made, well, if you don't have a taser, I guess you have to use deadly force and shoot me. So those were the comments and the situations that the officers were put in. And that really enlightened us in regards to making sure that each officer did have their own taser and they were able to deal with the situation properly.
Okay, any other questions? Anybody like to make a motion?
This is Alan. I'll move to approve.
This is Lori. I'll second.
Motion by Alan, second by Lori, that the council approves of purchasing of 8 tasers from Accent Enterprises Incorporated out of Scottsdale, Arizona, for an amount not to exceed $12,359.44. These are just the tasers that are going to come out of the capital improvements. They do have a budget item that they use to purchase tasers every year. So, any discussion? Sandy will call the roll.
Okay, we'll try it again. Steve Hackett.
Still don't see him.
Okay, thanks. Lori Chestnut.
Aye.
Paul Hagan.
Aye.
Alan Keeland.
Aye.
Scott Perchatsky.
Aye.
Dave Peterson.
Aye.
Paul Mayo.
Aye.
Dimitri Martin.
Aye.
And Eric Olson.
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
All right, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have a request from our city administrator on a temporary revision to our employee handbook. Aaron, you want to explain this?
Yep, thank you, Mayor Smith. On page 80 there in your packet, there's a memo from me explaining kind of what we're looking at here. As Mayor Smith said, we're looking at a temporary revision to the flex time policy within the employee handbook, and this is in response to school starting. Last spring, we worked with a lot of employees on, well, as we went through the Safer at Home order, had quote unquote essential employees, some people working remotely, people having to work with their kids through school. We're going to be facing that again in a little different scenario, and we kind of know what to expect a little more. So with school starting in a couple weeks, we're bringing forward, or I'm bringing forward, this revision, which you can see on page 100, which I'll go to right now. We know that the school district right now is planning on having 4K, and I'm talking about the Waupaca School District, 4K through 6th grade will be in school 4 days a week and do a virtual learning on Wednesdays. 7th grade through 12th grade will be, it looks like, in school 2 days a week, virtual learning 3 days a week. We've kind of put this in place around that 4K through 6th grade ages, as that will be the most, they'll be in the most need from a parent standpoint, helping them through it, childcare, so on and so forth. So we're looking to up the flex time from 4 hours a week to 8 hours a week during this time period to allow for that Wednesday flexibility. Also, our flex time typically is not meant to be week after week after week. This would, for this scenario, this would change that while this is in place. Any hours, let's say someone worked or is off on Wednesday and they can only get to 38 hours in a week. Fortunately enough, we do have that personnel policy through the FFCRA that does help provide some extra sick time. And then it can go to their regular sick time and eventually vacation time if needed, to cover some of those hours as well. So this is just us trying to be a little more flexible, working with our employees in the short term. I do not have a specified period of time. If I did, I would know a lot more than I think everyone in our country right now. But so that's kind of what we're looking at. Does anyone have any questions before we move forward?
Aaron, we're not talking about a whole lot of employees that would be affected by this. Is that right?
That's correct. I don't have an exact number. I would expect under 20%, well under 20%.
Okay, so this is just being flexible with our staff, which I think is a great idea, and also to work with our school district, which I also think is a great idea that we're doing. So we'd be looking for a motion to approve this temporary revision.
This is Scott, so moved.
Peterson, second.
Motion by Perchatsky, second by Peterson, that we approve of making a temporary revision to the city's flex time policy in the employee handbook. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anybody against? Any abstentions? Motion carries. All right, we have next up license report number 1509, which is the taxi driver's license renewal. I can see that really well there, Aaron. So we'd be just looking for a motion to approve.
Olson to approve.
Hagan, a second.
Lori, just a second.
A motion by Olson, second by Chestnut, that we approve of the taxi driver's license renewal. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anybody against? Any abstentions? All right, and then we have the operator's license number 1510. You can see those names in front of you. We would need a motion to approve these also.
Alan moves to approve.
Lori, second.
Thank you. Motion by Alan, second by Lori, that we approve license report 1510. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anybody against? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Nothing under our 30-minute discussion. Communications, recommendations of the mayor. Please share with us how you felt the virtual. You don't have to do it right now. You can do it in email or whatever the case might be, but share your thoughts on how this went tonight for the virtual meeting. Again, I see us continuing the virtual meeting at least through the governor's order. And so that would put us through the end of September. And then I guess we'll have to have that discussion after that time frame. But certainly want to get back in person when we start discussing budgets and stuff like that, if at all possible. Anybody else have anything for the good of the meeting tonight? How about a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Hagan, second by Martin, that we adjourn until the next regular council meeting on Tuesday, September 1st, 2020, subject to call. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any against? Motion carried. We are adjourned at 7:01 p.m. Have a great night, everybody. Drive safe. Go Brewers.
Good night, everyone.
Night, everyone.